It's time now for Media Watch, which means we are joined by James Creedon. James, what are you going to tell us
Evening,
about?
Mark. Well, it's been another incredible news day in the UK and I suppose around the world for Murdoch, because his interests, this is Rupert Murdoch, the media mogul, aren't just in the UK, they're in Canada, they're in India, they're in Australia. In any case, one of his biggest aims was to buy out the British satellite broadcaster Sky B. So you've got Sky Sports, Sky News, etc., etc. They've had to pull out. And this was after Labour had tabled a vote in the House of Commons calling on Murdoch to pull out of this bid. Cameron, the Prime Minister, David Cameron, eventually went along with this, along with the Liberal Democrats who were in the coalition government who had decided to side with opposition Labour. So there was a huge amount of political pressure on Sky B, or on News Corp to pull out of this bid to buy up Sky B. Bearing in mind that last Friday that deal was meant to be rubber stamped. This has just developed so quickly. So just looking at some of the analysis of that, in the Financial Times they're saying Murdoch is in an all-out retreat. In 1 week he closed down the News of the World Sunday newspaper, in existence for 168 years after it emerged that they had been hacking all sorts of people. He's abandoned the cornerstone of his growth strategy, buying out Sky B. It's a realisation by Murdoch that this issue is too politicised to proceed. So just having a little look online, I thought it was interesting that this journalist here for The Guardian, the paper that broke this whole story, he points out that he had been investigating this for 3 years. Now, that's the front page about Millie Dowler, a 13-year-old girl whose phone was hacked, giving the family false hope that she was still alive. And here he is. I mean, you mightn't get the audio, but he's a very happy guy at the moment, because it was a 3-year investigation. A lot of people in News Corp were saying he was obsessed with this story. And then in the space of 1 week, when they headlined on Millie Dowler and what happened with her, it just exploded. And elsewhere in The Guardian, if we have a look at this here, it shows the degree to which on the online media, on Twitter and elsewhere, I'm not sure if we can see it clearly there, but it was just a story that just absolutely blew up online. And last Thursday it peaked for the closure of the News of the World, when in the space of 1 hour 75,000 people were online talking about this, calling for a boycott, etc.
It's phenomenal stuff, and as you say, I mean, Nick Davis must be satisfied now that his story has proved to be exact and correct, but clearly, you know, full marks to him for sticking with the story and full marks to his editor for backing him, because clearly it's easy to say, you know, turn me out a story straight away, but that took resources, it took proper
3 years of plugging away.
It took a lot of work, and, you know, congratulations to him.
And so, I mean, celebrities too, like Hugh Grant, who were targeted over the years, they're very pleased about this. Also, some politicians, such as Gordon Brown, it emerged earlier this week that his son's medical condition had been published, perhaps down to hacking or of medical records. Let's have a listen to what he said today in the House of Commons.
I rise in this debate, Mr. Speaker, not to speak about myself, but to speak for those who cannot defend themselves. Many wholly innocent men, women and children who at the darkest hour, at the most vulnerable moment in their lives, with no one and nowhere to turn, found their properly private lives, their private losses, their private sorrows treated as the public property of News International, their private innermost feelings and their private tears bought and sold by News International for commercial gain.
Gordon Brown hitting the nail exactly on the head there. That's exactly why the country turned against the Murdoch organisation.
Absolutely. And The Sun today is saying, no, Gordon Brown is wrong. We didn't get the story from hacking. We got it through a legitimate means, a source who told us. They're very worried, of course, that this contagion is going to spread to The Sun, to the Sunday Times. There have already been rumours of hacking, not just rumours, but allegations in The Guardian and elsewhere. Now, what's quite funny about this, I think, is one of the judges who's going to lead the public inquiry in the UK into all of this was targeted by The Sun over being too lax on crime. Off with their heads, they said, say no to soft justice. And this is on the Politics Home blog, and you can see, basically that he might be quite happy as well to stick one in for The Sun. So between politicians, celebrities, you could even say maybe judges, there were so many people targeted by The Sun over the years that perhaps it's not surprising that there's been such an upswelling of public sentiment about this.
All Rupert's chickens came home to roost. James, we need to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed. James Creedon, our man with the Media Watch. Up next, all the day's news and sport, including how Leonardo, we're not talking a mutant turtle, we're talking the Brazilian footballer, is coming back to Paris Saint-Germain with the biggest transfer chest in world football. Plus, in culture, Robert Capa's works, those photographs we saw then, one of the best war photographers in living history. The new collection on Exit.